we welcome our former President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee. And we also have Asha Didi, Director of the Om Shanti Retreat Center, and Brother Brij Mohan Bhai, Additional Secretary General of Brahma Kumaris. We also welcome Brother Ken O'Donnell from Brazil and South Americas. He is the Director of South Americas. And Brother Charlie Hogg, who is a coordinator of Australia and Australasia. And we'd like to rise to the Indian national anthem. So if we could all rise and lights up.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you.
ना द्वेष रहे ना राग रहे
Anis Lieb from France. Thank you, Anis. And now I'd like to introduce again our brother Charlie Hogg. He's the Brahma Kumari's regional coordinator in Australia, and he's been a meditator since 1977. He spent 4 decades inspiring people to bring practical spirituality into lives, and we'd like to ask him to share his aim for the conference, or the aim for all of us. And welcoming again, Vice President of Argentina.
Your Excellency, former President of this great nation, India, Pranab Mukherjee, Your Excellency, Gabriela Michetti, the Vice President of Argentina, and my very dear brothers and sisters. In just a few moments, I would like to share a little bit of the origins of this event, and also the aims, and a little summary of this morning for those who have just arrived. In fact, this is the 3rd time that we have met in Delhi. The Brahma Kumari centers of India and around the world have joined together to celebrate spirituality. And last July, I was in Moscow with our dear brother Brijmohan Bhai, Sister Jayenti, and others, and we were discussing what will we do this time. And instantly, seeing all the issues that seem to be clouding our very fragile world, we decided on the subject, spiritual responses to critical times. And it was particularly relevant to me because I had just come from a retreat in New York. And a very influential group of people from Wall Street, the World Bank, many leaders had collected together. And in their language, they said there's like a spiritual revolution coming in this world from the grassroots. And they were talking about small groups and large groups in countries, cities, universities, schools that are trying to find a new way to deal with the world we are all seeing around us. And what they said, these leaders, was that our outer world, which we see, is a result of our collective inner world. What we are all seeing out there is a result of what is happening in here. And hence this conference, to look what is happening in here, because if the inner world creates the outer world, how do we deeply change the inner world? And I think this morning, this has been beautifully addressed by performances and talks. And I'm just going to encapsulate a few pertinent comments. Our very lovely Vice President of Argentina, an extremely special person, she said, what is the response that politicians can give us at this time of crisis? She said the response is a spiritual one. And she said of her own life, her relationship with God inspires her to serve others. And the most important example for her as a politician is to be an example of love. Who would like to see more politicians talk about love? I think most of us. And she told us that, or she told me personally, that in her job as the vice president of a very large country, she often brings up the subject of love. Then Sister Genti joined us, and Sister Genti positioned it in a different way. She talked about Indian philosophy and the concept of eternity, and that we move in cycles. And what she was saying is that the era of falsehood is peaking, and it's going to give way to an era of truth, dignity, love, and power. And how this is the natural process, that things peak and then change does come. So she saw a lot of hope in the future. Then there was a lovely interview, and Neville, who's a journalist from London, interviewed three very diverse people. Victor, a politician, former politician from Australia. Valentina, a pediatrician from the Seychelles, Africa. And Ayako, a professional musician. And what was really touching for me was how they integrate spirituality in their lives, how they lead a mainstream, busy life, but spirituality is the seed of everything they do. And then Sister Shivani also met us, and she began by saying something very beautiful. We come from different countries, different cultures, but there is one vibration. Why? Because we have one love for God, and that's the thing that pulls us together. And I found her spiritual response to these times very special. A time of moving from wanting to giving. And she told us all to give, and keep on giving as a response to what we see around. And interspersed with these beautiful, rich talks, we had a dance from Brazil, a song from Portugal, a magic show from Hong Kong, beautiful violin playing from Japan, and a dance from China. And finally, we saw representatives of 130 countries, like a family working together in a positive way to respond to the world in which we see around us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now I'd like to request Asha Didi's presence and welcoming our former president, Pranab Mukherjee.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti. We are extremely happy to have amidst us a very deeply spiritual person who, through his life and actions, has glorified the culture of India. When we approached our brother, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, the former President of India, he saw the title, Spiritual Response to Critical Times. He gave it a thought and wrote something on the letter, and finally accepted our invitation to be with us this afternoon. We welcome you, brother, from the core of our hearts. And I would like to tell the audience, because most of us do not know about his personality. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome and introduce our brother, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, the former President of India. Respected, learned, prolific, wise, and worthy former President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, whose public life spanned 5 decades before he resigned as a leader of Lok Sabha to become the 13th President of India. You are credited with the rare distinction of serving at different times as Foreign, Defense, Commerce, Finance Minister of the largest democracy of the world. Your good self is a person of unparalleled experience in governance and diplomacy. You have been particularly acclaimed for your role as a consensus builder on difficult national issues. Yes. The list of your achievements during your long and illustrious public career is very long indeed. Widely traveled to all parts of the world, you have glorified India as its worthy son and were conferred honorary doctorates by universities of 8 different countries. You have authored several books on Indian economy and nation building. You were honored with the best finance minister of the world by Euromoney magazine in 1984. The best parliamentarian award by Indian Parliamentary Group in 1997. Padma Vibhushan Award by President of India in 2008. Finance Minister of the Year for Asia by Emerging Markets in 2010. On 5th March 2013, Best Administrator in India Award by Karuna Karan Foundation in 2011. On 5th March 2013, he received the 2nd highest award of Bangladesh, the Bangladesh Mukti Judo Sanmanona, that is called Liberation Award. Recently, you have been honored with Bharat Ratna, yes, the highest civilian award of the Republic of India on 26th January 2019. We know you are a noble human being with high principles and respect for all classes, genders, religions, and every other human being. Above all, you are a visionary statesman with courage of conviction, having good of the nation only at your heart. Always looks at the good of the nation. Now, free from protocol, constraints of the highest office of President of India, your honors, words of wisdom, are in high demand all over the country. Today, the whole Brahma Kumari's family, brother, Dadi Janki is not able to make it. She's in Ahmedabad hospital and she sends her good wishes and blessings to you. We are lucky in having you with us today, and we'll have an opportunity to listen to his words of wisdom. Brother, welcome you again. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good afternoon. Her Excellency, Gabriela Mukherjee, Vice President of Argentina, Sister Brahma Kumari, Asha, Chairperson, Administrator Services Wing of Brahma Kumaris, Sri Brij Mohan, Additional Secretary General of Brahma Kumaris, Mr. Charles Hogg, Brahma Kumaris Regional Coordinator in Australia, Mr. Con O'Donnell, Brahma Kumaris Regional Coordinator, Brazil, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I especially welcome the distinguished guests coming across the seas to our country, the land of ancient civilization, India. I welcome you and wish you stay amidst us on this great occasion. I am indeed very happy to be amidst you to inaugurate the International Conference of Spiritual Response to Critical Times. At the outset, I would like to applaud the efforts of Brahma Kumaris present here today and all over the globe of their splendid services to humanity. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Brahma Kumaris community has 4,500 centers in 137 countries. I am told delegates from 131 countries are present in today's conference. This is an unique fiat. Neither is the fact that United Nations has recognized Brahma Kumari's organization as a formidable non-governmental organization. It fills me with pride that their genesis is from within our nation. This has been the land of Swami Vivekananda and Sri Aurobindo. They reintroduced the light of the Spirit in a tormented nation, and from them I take my inspiration for today's topic. We live in an unprecedented times of change and crisis in families, in nations, in politics, workplaces, relationships. As individuals, people are experiencing anxiety, insecurity, uncertainty, and depression at all levels never seen before. These are truly critical times. It is as if we as humanity are leaping from one crisis to another crisis without stopping to reflect, ponder over, and take account. This, of course, means that the majority of the people are living not in action, but in reaction, fear-based and defensive reactions. This outer state of the world is a reflection of the inner state of the world. Our moral, ethical, spiritual foundations seem to have become weak. Ego, lust, greed have become deeply rooted in human psyche, shaping a cultural of personal gratifications and greed, and going to any extent to fulfill their greeds. People have become callous and indifferent to the plight of the fellow persons. Their focus and actions are centered on getting what they want, even if that would mean harming or depriving others of their basic dignity and rights. The daily news is filled with horrifying stories of murder, fraud, rape, torture. Women, children, and other vulnerable sections of the society have become helpless prey to the viciousness of those who have been totally blinded by ego and lust. Now is the time when we must turn our attention to the moral, ethical, and spiritual dimensions of our life and strengthen these elements which form the foundation of truly advanced and happy society. The call of the present critical time is that the solutions to all the problems of the world lie in the elevated human consciousness, in the elemental spiritual wisdom and values. Spirituality points us to the realization that when we act with generosity, compassion, respect for all, we lay the foundation of a holistic progress for the entire humanity. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, spiritually is important for any individual. At times, it is confused with religion, but spiritually carries a deeper meaning in its strong connect to our daily life. Being spiritual is being devoted. Working harder for the growth of the nation is an act of devotion in itself. Working harder to become contributing and responsible citizens of any great nation is an act of devotion. For children, listening to their teachers and parents is an act of devotion. To study without any distractions and to put your best efforts towards any activity is an act of devotion. With an august gathering assembled here right now, I hope this forum would help in propagating such a message. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, spirituality forms the support base of the normal and social principles which has made mankind civilized. We belong to a country and a civilization that has always attached great importance to spiritual thought. It is one of the many gifts India has given to the world. From ancient times to modern age, India has been a guiding light among nations when it comes to spiritual leadership. Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Lord Buddha, Lord Mahavir, Emperor Ashoka, Kabir, Guru Nanak, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Swami Vivekananda, Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore. Throughout our history and in our present, we have been blessed with the great spiritual thinkers and teachers. This is a land where Dharmarajya has existed once. This is also the country that fought its battles for freedom using nonviolence as its means. The Indian school of spirituality has never differed from logic. It has never barred opinion or dissension. It is a school of thought that has always preached unity in difference. I got it from Maha Upanishads. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole world is my relation. Yatra Vishwa Bhaveteko Niram. Here, the whole universe makes it nest. So, what is spirituality for us today? I believe it is an India that lives by the values we have always upheld through our history. An India that embraces diversity, that is open, inclusive, where people live with the values of inclusion and tolerance. It is also an India where people strive for achievement, for personal growth, and for balance in life. Our philosophers and spiritual thinkers have spoken of the need to achieve a higher level of being. Spiritually awakens that inner power of human beings. That power also helps people to face difficulties in their real lives. Every religion imparts the lessons that we can surmount our problems and challenges only with truth. Gandhiji made his experiments with truth and he candidly admitted it. His stories of realization the truth, title of the book itself, My Experience with Truth. This international conference today should reignite our minds to maintain our roots in truth while we together pursue this battle against critical times. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, spirituality gives a superior meaning to whatever we do. If we approach life and crisis with the same piousness as we have been, we worship God and will experience a sense of being uplifted, of being connected to a greater power. We need to inspire commitment and positive attitude to our people. Through Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna guides us by saying, and I quote, Tamasat Askat, O Arjun, always perform your duty efficiently, without attachment to the results, because by doing work without attachment, one attains the Supreme Person, unquote. In today's world, which is becoming more and more insular, it is imperative that we use spirituality to guide us in our thoughts, deeds, and actions. Spirituality shows us to treat others, how and in what manner. All religions profess values of reformation of the human being. Once again, that great book says, and I quote, "Perform all work carefully, guided by compassion." Spirituality means embodying kindness, compassion, and selflessness. If these values flourish in our citizens, the society would become happier, more peaceful place to live. This effect will transmit to the wider community, from society to the nation, and eventuality to the entire humanity. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as I started my observation by saying it is a land of ancient civilization, but at the same time, today, it is the youngest nation demographically, the youth of our greatest strength, and our beacon to hope for a brighter future. We have to ensure that our rich civilizational values are instilled in them as we strive for higher levels of socio-economic development. We need to ensure that we remain connected to our values. It will guide us to a path of growth that is rich in spirit and wisdom. Once again, I am reminded of the observations of Mahatma Gandhi on environmental protection. He warned the world by saying a few simple words. The Mother Earth has everything to meet the need of you, but not the greed of even a few. We must substitute need, essential need, by our greed. Greed must be left, and we must pursue the real need in harmony with the people at large, transcending the artificial barriers formed in the form of caste, creed, religion, social barrier, and all sorts of artificial barriers which have no real value. I am quite confident this great conference will convey that message to the entire humanity, and I do hope we will have to breathe in a better atmosphere, in an atmosphere which is not vitiated by violence, an atmosphere which is not fouled by the cries, agonies of the depressed and oppressed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.
And now, our senior brother, National. Thank you. Yeah. And now our senior brother, Brij Mohan Bhai, will present a shawl to our former president, Shri Pranab Mukherjee. And now he's presenting a shawl to the Vice President of Argentina, Marta Gabriel. And now, if we could please stand for the national anthem, or the light. Okay, sorry, now first we'll have the light. So Brother Charles Hogg, Director of Australasia of the Brahma Kumaris, presenting actually a light, a candle light in a beautiful urn to our former president and to the Vice President of Argentina. And now if you could please all stand for the Indian national anthem.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
And now we say from our hearts a goodbye and a thank you to our dignitaries.
Sorry, Dada, I couldn't change it because I have to run to the lights, to the music, so many things. I'm very sorry. It is my...
Om Shanti. So now we're making the stage ready for that beautiful dance. We're going to welcome Gorechi Dunningham back from Brazil to perform that amazing angel dance, because I know some of you may not have been here at the morning session. So now we get to enjoy this amazing dance of angel. Thank you.